Young Sheldon Season 7, Episode 7 Recap.
Fine.
Over in the blink of an eye, Georgie and Mandy did indeed get married in Young Sheldon Season 7, Episode 7. Patiently waiting at the courthouse with Mima, Dale, and baby Cece, Mandy spots Mary, George, and Missy running down the halls to try and find them.
What do you think?
Mima reveals that she told them, with Mary apologizing for what she'd done. Audrey and Jim quickly follow suit, with George hinting he'd called Jim before leaving the house. With all appearing civil between the two families, Georgie and Mandy wed in a very brief courthouse ceremony. Audrey and Jim pay for everyone to have dinner afterwards, which appears to be spaghetti served out of buckets. When Dr. Linkletter arrives with Sheldon, the family apologizes to him for not waiting until he turns up, with Sheldon replying that he was thrilled he didn't have to attend in the first place.
Wow, really?
Should we offer to split?
Mr. McAllister, really appreciate it, but that's not necessary.
While Georgie is thinking about having more kids to provide a brother or sister for Cece, Mandy hints that she'd like to either go back to work or school. The pair also discuss relocating to a new area, or at least buying their own place away from George and Mary. These are likely to be topics we'll see fleshed out in the impending Young Sheldon sequel, but for now, only time will tell.
There's just some things you don't joke about.
While all is well for the happy couple, the same can't be said for Mima. Left to take care of Cece in order to stop Mary and Audrey fighting, Mima takes Cece to the laundromat gambling room, but quickly leaves after discovering the police are on their way. Trying to make a run for it down the street, Mima is arrested, calling Dale to take the baby with him. Leaving him strict instructions not to tell Mary what has happened, Mima learns she'll be locked up for a few days while the judge is out of town. It's not long before Dale goes against Mima's wishes and lets George know what's happened, which leads to Mary arriving to take Cece with her. When Audrey turns up at Dale's to find Cece isn't there, she's quickly fuming, turning up at the Cooper residence to give Mary a piece of her mind. Mima arrives home briefly to collect her things, waiting back at the jail for her sentence. After Audrey arrives at Mary's in Young Sheldon Season 7, Episode 7, the two are in hostile territory, standing off against one another in the living room. Things get so bad that George calls Jim for reinforcements, sitting by their wives through a particularly frosty dinner. It's here that more dirty laundry is aired, with each pair recounting who their less favorable family members are, and Jim being particularly embarrassed of his Democrat brother.
Than my mother.
And?
My cousin Janine is a practicing witch, but that's
Meanwhile, Missy convinces Sheldon that Mary is hiding secrets, after being the only family member unaware that Mima was running an illegal gambling room. Missy tells him that Mary had the prayer garden made to hide a dead body, which isn't helped by Sheldon overhearing absent-minded remarks from the rest of the family. Sheldon goes so far as to dig the garden up himself, which of course leads to nothing.